Okay, let's just make sure everyone's muted. All right, so a few housekeeping. I think I already mentioned to some of you, we're just keeping you muted for now, just to keep the background noise away once Angela begins to present. And you will get incredible amount of information. We are going to do, the presentation itself is only going to be about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes, give or take. And we're gonna have you muted throughout the whole presentation. And at the end of it, we'll have you unmute, and then we'll have you'll be able to ask Angela and myself questions. In the meantime, you can go ahead in the chat. You can, any questions that come up, you can start to type them in. We've got Karen and we have Marie who is going to help out with questions so that we have them at the end and we'll be able to field those out for you. And just say hello, where you're from, who invited you, and that's about it. I think right now, we're about 9:01. I want to get started. I'm going to introduce you to Angela. I have the incredible privilege of introducing you to Angela. She is a very, very good friend of mine. And she was the one who first introduced me to Juice Plus, to everything that you're going to hear about. And I'm incredibly and forever grateful for that. She is a loving wife. She is a mom of 2 incredible teenagers whom I've also had the privilege of teaching. And she has an incredible passion for nutrition and for teaching. I'm just going to pull up here a little bit more about her. She has lost 2 grandmothers and her sister-in-law as well to cancer. And so this just made her decide to go back to school to understand the power of nutrition and lifestyle. She's extremely passionate about making a difference in her community by teaching the impact that nutrition makes and how we nourish our body, our mind, and spirit, creating a wholeness. And she is a registered holistic nutritionist, and she's also a registered holistic cancer practitioner. And so just everybody, just welcome Angela. She's going to begin our night with nutrition and prevention.
Thank you so much, Annie. So I'd like to start off with a question. I'd like to ask you, do you ever feel that there's so much conflicting information about nutrition and prevention, what to eat or not eat? Unfortunately, some people are left with the impression that nutrition doesn't matter, and it's simply untrue. So what you're going to learn tonight, you're going to hear my health transformation story as well as Annie's. Your DNA is not your destiny, how to bridge your nutritional gap, and healing with alkalizing foods. So I'm going to start with a little bit of doom and gloom, what the future looks like, why we are so unhealthy. Well, 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. I do what I do because in the 40s, in the 1940s, this number used to be 1 in 17 people would develop cancer. And now it's 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 5 children will be obese. So Dr. David Katz is a pediatrician, and something he shared, which if you know me really well, you know that I'm really passionate about kids too. And so it's really disturbing for me when I hear or know that our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. So one of the reasons is our environment. So the future of our environment and the toxins are increasing. The pollution, water contaminants, pesticides, prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, chemicals, skincare products, hair care products, and plastics. We also know that the future of our food quality is decreasing. More than 50% of what North Americans eat is processed. You know, it's full of preservatives, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, synthetic vitamins, growth hormones, GMOs, pesticides, trans fats, less nutrition, artificial colors. Before you even purchase your broccoli, it could lose 50 to 80% of key nutrients. So something I like to share here is a serving of broccoli in 1950 had 142 milligrams of calcium. That same serving of broccoli today has 38. So this is quite alarming. So there are some simple changes that we can do to be healthier. One, we want to be moving every day. Moving our body is so important. Sleep, especially the past, several months. I know each and every one of us have been impacted by, all the stress that's going on, and maybe that's been impacting your sleep and you're not getting the 7 to 8 hours that you need. We need to find ways to manage stress, whether it's going for a nature walk every day, meditation, whatever it is that, resonates with you, and figuring out what those tools are to help you manage your stress. Drinking water, so important that we're drinking, 2 to 3 liters of water every day. Using safer products. So this is products that we use on our body, products that we use in our home. We want to make sure that we understand what those ingredients are, because we don't want to, again, be increasing more toxins that are already so much around all of us, and understanding which way to take healthier alternatives. And then remembering the value, the importance of eating real food. So whole food. Avoiding cancer, death. Did you know that according to the National Cancer Institute, estimates of cancer deaths avoidable through nutritional changes run as high as 75%? So prostate cancer, 75%, breast cancer, 70%, pancreatic cancer, 70%, uterine cancer, 50%, and gallbladder cancer, 50%. Here's a quote that I love from Dr. Silverstein. She's a naturopathic doctor. And what she shares is cancer patients rarely die of their tumors. They die of malnutrition, toxemia, and or opportunistic infections. And good nutrition can help address all of these. So what stands between us and cancer? The liver. Up to 90% of all cancers are due to carcinogens and nutrient deficiencies, and we are all exposed to the same toxins. The liver is one of the most important organs in your body. It performs more than 300 functions, and it also helps some of your other organs to do their jobs. The liver's main job is to filter the blood coming from the digestive tract before passing it to the rest of the body. The liver also detoxifies chemicals, and as it does so, the liver secretes bile that ends up back in the intestines. So, risk factors for the liver: junk food, unhealthy altered fats, high sugar, alcohol, coffee, smoking, fuel exhaust, petroleum products, birth control pills, candida, pesticides, drug use, anabolic steroids, prescription medications, over-the-counter medications, and emotions, things like stress, anger, worry. What increases our risk of cancer? Cancer is a result of an unhealthy cell, unrecognized by the immune system, that grows uncontrolled. Cancer grows in an environment that's conducive to cancer growth and thrives on a low oxygen, acidic environment. Cancer also thrives when our immune system is weak, our body is toxic, and our nutrition is of poor quality. Free radicals are also linked to cancer. So what causes free radicals? Cancer is an example of disease caused by free radical damage to our DNA. Inflammation, for example, in the body can be hard to detect, yet it slowly attacks healthy tissues in the brain, arteries, and joints, leading to many different diseases as well. Some studies have shown that cancer cells thrive in a highly acidic environment. The pH of the body is tightly regulated, but what happens when you eat more whole foods like fruits and vegetables, and we reduce or remove sugar, alcohol, meats, and processed food is that all of these lifestyle changes will reduce inflammation in our body that causes the DNA damage and leads to cancer. Eating whole foods that reduce inflammation can reduce cancer risk, as well as almost 80% of other diseases. What is oxidative stress? Oxidative stress reflects an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. So here are a few signs to look for: fatigue, brain fog, muscle or joint pain, headaches, susceptibility to infections. So here you can tell when we all know when you cut an apple, the bad news is, it starts to turn brown. So that's an example of oxidative stress, and it causes aging and disease. The good news is that we have antioxidants like the lemon in fruits and vegetables that protect ourselves from the oxidative stress. So what's the difference between acidic and alkaline food? Our bodies are resilient with the ability to self-correct in the event of an imbalanced pH level through a mechanism called the buffer system. In chemistry, a buffer is a substance which neutralizes acids, keeps the pH of a solution relatively constant despite the addition of considerable amounts of acids or bases. However, due to a person's choices of a poor diet of junk food, fast foods, processed foods, sodas, most of us are putting our bodies through the ringer in order to maintain the proper pH in our blood. Although our bodies typically maintain alkaline reserves, which are utilized to buffer acids in these types of situations, it's safe to say that many of us have depleted our reserves. The excess acids are dumped into the tissues. It's clear that with poor diet, lifestyle, and poor mental attitude results in toxic buildup, which overloads the self-cleaning mechanism. Possible cancer symptoms that we are likely to ignore. So I'm going to list some of these for you. Changes in the size, color, or shape of a wart or mole, pelvic or abdominal pain, a sore that doesn't heal, becomes crusty or bleeds easily, rectal bleeding or blood in stool, persistent cough, hoarseness, sore throat, or chest pain, unexplained weight loss, a lump or thickening in the breast or elsewhere, nipple changes, swelling of facial features, unusual bleeding or discharge, change in your nails, chronic indigestion or difficulty in swallowing, pain in the back or lower right side, any change in your bowel or bladder habits, weakness and fatigue, wheezing or shortness of breath, bloating or abdominal weight gain, frequent fevers or infections, lymph nodes or lumps on the neck, underarm, or groin. So again, some quotes here I'd like to share with you on how powerful plants are. Dr. James Duke said, somewhere in the plant kingdom, there's a remedy for everything. And Dr. Patrick Quillen said proper nutrition could prevent 50 to 90% of all cancers. So what is whole food and why should we eat it? Whole foods are generally those that remain close to their state in nature. They do not have any added sugars, starches, flavorings, or other manufactured ingredients. Why whole foods? Well, it's as nature intended. It's nourishing, blood sugar balancing. Low consumption is linked to many diseases. Strengthens your immune system. Low consumption is linked to increased risks of cancer. Whole foods protect us by providing enormous amounts of nutrition, strengthens our immune system, alkalizes the body when we're eating 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. They're a natural anti-inflammatory and helps the body detoxify. And lastly, antioxidants prevent free radical-induced tissue damage by preventing the formation of radicals or by promoting their decomposition. So how much do we need to eat of our fruits and vegetables? We need to eat 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Athletes need even more. Why so many? Well, the produce is picked before the nutrition fully develops. It's transported thousands of miles 90% of North Americans don't eat enough servings, and we don't eat enough variety from the rainbow. Often, if I was to ask somebody what they ate yesterday, typically it's going to be between 2 to 5 servings, and we all have our favorites, and that's just our go-to all the time. We're not getting the variety. Let's talk phytonutrients. A lifestyle that includes plenty of fruits, vegetables, and fiber is associated with significantly lowering the average risk of some types of cancer, including colon and breast cancer. Eating the rainbow every day provides the most protection. Some of the best phytonutrient-rich foods are all berries. Blueberries are the highest source, broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables, citrus fruits, dark green leafy vegetables, flax seeds, garlic, melons, pink grapefruit, non-GMO water wash soy, and sweet potatoes. Let's talk fiber. Fiber can help keep the colon and bowels healthy by stripping them of harmful bacteria. Some of the best high fiber foods are lentils, black beans, kidney beans, lima beans, chickpeas, gluten-free oatmeal, pears with the skin, apples with the skin, Brussels sprouts, and peaches with the skin. How does being a certified holistic cancer practitioner change my outlook on healing and prevention? For decades, we've been focusing on the disease that affects the person rather than looking at the person the disease affects and why one person gets disease and the other doesn't. The term holistic means focusing on the person. As a practitioner, having whole food supplements to recommend to have a better quality of life is like manna from heaven. Supplements are not a substitute for healthy eating. You can't eat junk, take a few pills, and expect to be well. But I do see whole food supplements as a nutritional support to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So I'd like to share the story behind powdered fruits and vegetables. Dr. Humbert Santillo, he's a naturopathic doctor, and he spent several years perfecting the process by which he took vats of expressed raw juices and flash dried them into powders that could then be encapsulated without compromising nutritional quality. He was led to develop this whole food product from the life-changing trauma of his father being diagnosed with lymphoma. As a naturopath, he was determined to give his father a better quality of life. And for his full story, it is amazing. So I encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you here today so that you can hear more about his story. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce our speaker, Annie. And I am going to just go there and I'm going to share some information about my beautiful friend. She's a wife, minister, and mother of 2, and she has a passion for teaching and nutrition. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in fall of 2019 and wanted to use her knowledge of the power of nutrition to help in the healing process. Thanks for being here tonight, Annie.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share before we continue on with the Juice Plus, just a little bit about my story and my journey here. I was first introduced to Juice Plus a few years ago by Angela. Pardon me, my throat's a little dry. And at first I wasn't really sure, and I kind of hemmed and I hawed and, oh, I don't know if I need this. And one day, like it just kept coming up, and one day I went to this presentation and I was blown away by the information that I received. And I believe it was is it Alyssa? Just
yes.
And she also, like Angela, was a holistic cancer practitioner, and the information was just kind of blowing my mind. I was already going through some health issues, and I was looking for something to help get me stronger. Fast forward a little bit, we got my whole family on it. And what I didn't realize was that it was going to be almost a year later that then I would get this diagnosis of breast cancer. And so in the last fall, I received a phone call from my family doctor to say that I had breast cancer, went through a lumpectomy, and then was diagnosed with an aggressive cancer. And I had cancer both in the ductal and as well as mammary, aggressive, and it was estrogen positive and it was HER2 positive. And what the HER2 positive meant was kind of like my dark horse. I always thought, oh, if it's breast cancer, I will just go the holistic route and just do alternative and nutrition. But then my world turned upside down. And so with a lot of prayer and a lot of counsel, we decided to do an integrative approach. So I did go ahead and have a medical oncologist, a radiation oncologist, but I also have a naturopathic oncologist through the Ottawa Integrative Cancer Center. And together, the three of them work to come up with a plan that supports my health. And Juice Plus was one of those things that stayed in my plan. Both my medical oncologist and my radiation oncologist agreed that I can continue to take it. And the reason was, and we will go into detail later, was because Juice Plus is a whole food. It's an actual plant powder that's encapsulated. So your body knows what to do with an apple. Your body knows what to do with an orange and with a pear and with kale. And these plant powders were the entire food, not isolated minerals and vitamins that could counteract with treatments. And instead, it complemented the treatments. So for me, I included this along with other things that my integrative oncologist, my naturopathic oncologist also had, plus the chemo, plus the radiation. I will give you one incredible praise report. I have another one that I will share later. But shortly into my chemo journey, when you go in for chemo, they have to do blood work before they administer the chemo. And they check your white blood cell counts to see if they have to be at a certain level. And if they're too low, they cannot give you the treatment. Because it's toxic to your body. It's killing the cancer cells, but it's also killing everything else. So my body needed support. So I went in January for a chemo treatment, and the nurse looked at the white blood cell counts and then kind of did a double take and then called another one over. And then they looked at me and they said, like, what are you taking? And and she says, no, like, what else are you taking? Because my white blood cell counts were better than even my December counts. And that was after already an onslaught of chemo. And so I was just thrilled. They were thrilled. And it's not that it was just Juice Plus alone, but Juice Plus was what enabled me, I really believe, because it bridged the gap for what I could not get nutritionally. I was not able to consume enough fruits and vegetables. My body was already struggling to digest anything that I was giving it. So being able to have plant powders in hands with every dosage being over 30 fruits and vegetables, and I was like triple dosing, it was incredible. So that has been my go-to, and that has been my mainstay throughout all of the treatment along with everything else. So that was one of my big praise reports. So now we're going to just continue on with this Juice Plus here and what makes it so different from everything else. The one thing I had already mentioned is that it adds the nutrition from over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries to your diet. Whole foods are harvested at the peak of ripeness so that the nutrition is intact. So what that means is your oranges are growing on the trees in the orchard, and when it's ripe, that's when they get picked, not beforehand. So they don't do it after, they do it right at peak, and it's the entire thing. So you're getting the orange, the interior, the peel, the seeds, the entire fruit is coming into that powder. So they're all picked at ripeness. The produce is pulverized, not juiced, and it's dried into powders at extremely low temperatures. If anybody here does drying of fruits, you know, in order to preserve the quality so that you do not break it down at a cellular level, so it has to be at extremely low temperatures. It's exactly what Juice Plus does. Very low temperatures in order to maintain and preserve the nutrition and the integrity of the fruit and the vegetable that it's being pulverized. The plant powders are then put into little capsules, or they're in little chewables, which I love. They're kind of like little gummies. And I take those with me to the chemo unit. I will have them with me tomorrow when I go into treatment. And they're great because you just pop them, kind of like candy, but they're not candy, but they're amazing. And then we also have the full spectrum omega blend using omega rich algae. So it's a plant-based omega versus a fish oil. And then berries and seeds instead of the fish. What's very unique about Juice Plus, we mentioned, it's a food. It's actually food. It's not a multivitamin. They are not isolated vitamins and minerals. It's the entire fruit and vegetable. So you'll see on the food label, it's made with non-GMO ingredients. For those of you who are new to that term, non-GMO just means that the fruits and vegetables are not genetically modified. They are vegan, meaning there are no animal byproducts, so there isn't any honey, for example, if you're vegan. It's also kosher, and they are both dairy and gluten-free, which is really important for those of us who may be dairy intolerant, have a dairy allergy, are celiac or gluten intolerant. They're also NSF certified, third party, and what that means is that when you're reading the label, what it says is exactly what you're getting. And there are no banned substances within our ingredients. They are NSF as well for sports certified capsules for professional athletes are also available. So if you know anyone, that's available too. And it is the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. It has over 35 plus peer-reviewed published clinical studies. And when we say that it's the most researched, it's the most researched by peers, by doctors, by nutritionists, and at those journals. It's not just you and I Googling. This one simple step, this is what I take. These 3 little bottles that you see on your screen, there's a red, a green, and a blue. 2 capsules of each is like 1 dose. I do that 3 to 4 times a day. During treatment, I actually take 1 of each every hour on the day of treatment up through 5 o'clock for me. Thank you, Angela. Angela was the one who got me on this little regimen, and it has made a world of difference when it comes to minimizing side effects of treatments. And then the plant-based omegas, again, that's for heart, for brain, for joints. And this is where I want to talk just a little bit about, because we all hear about, oh, we need omegas and they're really great for the brain. I had no idea how important omegas were until I had to undergo this treatment. One of the treatments that I'm on, it's a year long, so which is why I'm not done. I'm in treatment right through December in the chemo unit. One of the treatments is called Herceptin. It's a targeted treatment, but it's also extremely hard on the heart. So I'm at risk every time I get it, and throughout of my heart weakening, heart attacks, you name it, it's just all there. Every 4 treatments, I get an echocardiogram. Before I started treatment, they did 1 in order to have a baseline. My injection fraction, that is just one of the things that they measure, was at a 60. And my Dr. Gold, was thrilled with my injection fraction. But they always check it because they have their own baseline. We can allow it to get this weak, but after that, then if it gets lower, then we can't do treatment. Everything has to be held off. We have to monitor all of that. My naturopathic oncologist has me on the omega specifically for heart protection. I am on a much higher dose than what you would typically take. But when I went in for my last echocardiogram, my injection fraction was actually stronger than before I even started the treatments. Right, Angela? I was blown away, but I had no idea. Like, you think, oh yeah, it's good for your heart. But let me tell you, when you get an echocardiogram and you hear your heartbeat for the first time, I remember lying there going, that's my heart. And I was so thankful for my heart. And I am telling you, when I first heard about all of this, I had no idea how much I was going to need it. I thought it was just going to be for like my everyday. And let me tell you, for my everyday, for my family, it has been a game changer for them. But for me personally, it is what is helping to save my life and give me a better quality life. I am forever grateful for being introduced to it. So Juice Plus isn't just about treating or curing specific conditions or diseases. It's not a get quick pill. It's not a cure, but it is going to support you in your journey. It is what is going to give your immune system and your organs what they need in order to begin to heal and to rejuvenate themselves. Cancer isn't just about what you eat and what you don't eat. And that's why there are the holistic, and you need to look at the whole picture. It's all of it. It's your emotions, forgiveness, that stress, that sleep, all of it. This is one part. It's a huge part. It's a huge part. You need to nourish your body and the organs that you have, because they show up for you every day and they work really hard for you every day so that you can breathe. It's incredible. The gold standard for our research is at all the leading hospitals. I'm going to, what our gold standard method is, I don't know if you can read that, so I'll read it for you. It is, they're randomized, they're double blind, they're placebo controlled, they're tested on the product itself. There are human clinical trials, tons of them, and they are published in peer-reviewed journals, and they are ethical. You have, I'm not going to list all of them, you can see them there. There's the Georgetown University, there's the University of Cambridge, there's Yale University, Griffin Hospital, there's our University of Toronto right here in Canada, just to name a few. But this product is extremely well researched and peer reviewed, and it is calling out, and there are thousands of doctors who come and look at the product, recommend the product, and they just search it. It contributes, you'll see some of the things that Juice Plus contributes to cardiovascular wellness. Yes, it does. I can attest to that. I have all the blood work. I have Pocket Health. I have my chart. I have Connect Care, you name it. I have all the tests, everything. Supports a healthy inflammatory response. Yes, it does. Supports your quality of life. Yes, it absolutely does. Supports healthy cholesterol, LDL, triglyceride metabolism. I can attest to that. I've never had an issue with it. My husband, on the other hand, can. Supports healthy lung function? Yes. Supports healthy skin, healthy gums? Yes. And if you know someone who's going through chemo treatments, your gums get quite affected. So this helps to support that. It supports your immune system. It helps maintain your healthy DNA, reduces oxidative stress, absorbed by the body. Dr. Richard Dubois here says, there is nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. And that's a pretty incredible testimony.
Thank you,
That's
Annie.
my story. There's
Awesome.
so
Thank
much
you.
more I would love to share, but we don't have enough time. But there is so much more.
That was amazing. Thank you for sharing, Annie. So one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is growing your own food. And I'm going to just take a minute and ask anyone on this call that owns one of these to go ahead in the chat box and share why you chose to have one. So you're going, when we're able to grow our own food all year round, there's nothing better. Tastes better, all of that kind of good stuff. And most importantly, it doesn't have all the chemicals on it that end up creating these toxins that we're putting into our body on a daily basis. So we talked about research, and here one of the research that were done on our tower garden by the University of Mississippi compared a soil garden to our tower garden flex, which is the one with the green basin. And here's what they determined. 98% less water, 90% less space, 30% more yield, and grows 3 times faster, and it's safe and nutritious. So the Tower Garden Flex is the one with the green basin, and for that one, you can put it anywhere in your house when the season doesn't permit outdoors, and you need a 3x3 space. And then our Tower Garden Home is beautiful as well. If you're living in a condo and you want something smaller, then that one you need 2x2. So treating the cause, not just the symptoms. So again, a quote that I love from Dr. Silverstein: surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation can reduce or remove symptoms, often only temporarily. But unless the biological function is fully repaired, unless the immune system is optimized, unless the body chemistry is restored into balance, unless the actual cause of the cancer are addressed and eliminated, there is great risk of reoccurrence. So why Juice Plus? There are many fine nutritional supplements on the market today, plus many poor quality ones. And these plant powders, I believe, are one of the simple alkalizing changes to add to your lifestyle. The quantity and quality of independent research on Juice Plus and the NSF certification is most impressive for me as a practitioner, especially in terms of bioavailability of cancer-preventing antioxidants, immune system support, and reduction of DNA damage. I'm going to take a minute and just share my story. So 5 years ago, I was in a car accident, and I spent a year doing every modality, chiro, physio, osteo, you name it, I did it all. I was also on painkillers. I was on anti-inflammatories. I had 2 little kids at that same time that were in the car with me, and they had, had a history of catching little colds that would turn into strep throat, ear infections, winter inhalers, and needless to say, I was exhausted. So thankfully, I had seen a post on a mom's group, and the nutritionist had shared, asked, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? And I was. What I didn't realize is that once I started implementing these plant powders as part of my daily lifestyle, that I was able to get rid of medication. I was able to get rid of the anti-inflammatories, get rid of the painkillers. So even though I have certain limitations in what I can do because of my lower back and my neck, I'm still, able to do so much holistically. Fast forward a little bit, and I had a lump that was found. So when that lump was found, I was sent for an MRI. I knew that I went for the MRI. I was asked to go to the hospital to have the results discussed. When I was there, I was asked to do another mammogram. And this was kind of discouraging because I had just finished having one. I ended up having, a nurse that was in there, technician, sorry, who ended up sharing with me that the reason I had to have the mammogram was because this doctor didn't trust that doctor. So that left me pretty, disheartened. So then they ended up placing a chip. They ended up saying, let's watch it. And then I decided to go back to school. And so I studied nutrition and I learned a lot. And I learned, again, where I wanted to put my focus. So I decided when it was time for me to have another mammogram that I didn't want that. After meeting with my naturopath, she suggested go for a breast MRI. So I didn't want to wait. I'm in Ottawa, and I didn't want to wait 6 months to get an MRI. So if I drove to Kingston, which is just 2 hours away, I'd be able to have an MRI within the week. And so when I had the MRI, then I had to have an ultrasound. When the technician was doing the ultrasound, she asked me how long I've had cancer for. So I took a deep breath and I said, well, as far as I know, I don't have cancer. And then she said to me, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry. Here in Kingston, which is in the same province, just 2 hours away, here in Kingston, when we place a chip, it's because you do have cancer and we're monitoring it. So I left there in tears and I thought, okay, I'm going to just continue doing my own research and following my own journey. So I'm going back in November for another MRI to be done, and then we'll see where everything's at. When I talked to my family doctor, he's like, well, I wish that wouldn't have been said to you. That's not what we think here in Ottawa. So I share this story with you because I want you to know how important it is that when you're talking about your health, it is so, so very important for you to self-advocate, for you to ask questions. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So we encourage you to discuss your health with a nutritionist or a naturopathic doctor on why eating a plant-based diet is full of vegetables. It's full of vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds, while reducing meat, processed foods, and alcohol, to name a few, will have a positive effect on your overall health. I'd also like to share some references here if you'd like to take a screenshot. These are some great websites, some great books, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. I want to share with you that I hope that you took away a new tip or tool. We're going to have another cancer talk if you'd like to invite anybody for next time on October 27th. It's going to be the same time, same Zoom, and guest speaker is going to be an amazing nutritionist named Nicole, and she's going to share some things that she went through to help her to remove toxins and everything when she got a scare about cancer. So again, thank you for the opportunity that we had to serve you, and we're going to stop the recording, and we're going to open it up for an opportunity for anybody that would like to ask any questions. Wow, hi everybody. So I don't know if there's been any questions in the chat. I'm just going to stop the recording